Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Star Wars Clone Wars. I am the youngling Tress now.
I am the Kyber Crystal Taylor Field.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't guessed by our nicknames or the title of the show, we are reviewing every single episode of the Clone Wars in honor of the revival happening in less than a month. Season 7 Clone Wars will be dropping on Disney+. So now's your time to go back, listen to every single episode we've done. That we're going to be finished. Every single episode's been released before the show comes out, so make sure you do that. But yeah, get your Clone Wars fixed in now. We reviewed Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, and now we're on Season 5. We just did the first 5 episodes, so now we're going to do the next 5 episodes, 6 to 10. Taylor, you got anything to say, or should we get into this?
I'm excited.
The Gathering. Ahsoka and Yoda take a grouping.
A grouping. They take a grouping.
Take two. Ahsoka and Yoda take a group of younglings to a cave on Ilum to perform a Jedi rite passage called The Gathering, where they will have to each race each other. No.
They have to race each other? Is that a thing?
No, have to each... And let me start again. Oh, no. Where they will each have to face an eternal fear or flaw in order to retrieve a Kyber crystal so they can begin building their own lightsabers. Sorry, I got a cold. I think it's starting, and I'm starting to feel it. Also got about 4 hours of sleep last night. Usually less than usual because, you know, that's what happens when you have kids. So.
No, you weren't watching Clone Wars?
No. Usually I can function on that, but I gotta be prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for that. If I'm awake, I gotta choose to be awake. It's not like this. You're sleeping, then you get woke up. You sleep. That's not my my like design sleep pattern to like stay up. I can function on 4 hours of sleep, but I need a design way. Kids crying, sick kids, not designed. Taylor, what do you think of this episode, The Gathering?
This was very, very cool to see this kind of perspective, and to go to Ilum as well, which is a very unique planet.
Oh, did I say it wrong? It's not Ilum, it's Ilum.
I don't actually know the right way to say it.
Starkiller Base.
Starkiller Base, yeah. Yeah, just a very all-around interesting planet. It's obviously it's not the only planet where Jedi could go to get Kyber crystals that we've seen. There's like Jeddah and there's other planets in the galaxy, but
we never saw that though with Jeddah.
Jeddah, we saw the Kyber crystals they were harvesting.
Oh yeah, you're right. They were harvesting them, right?
Yeah,
but we never saw a Jedi go do that. We've seen that here with Clone Wars and in Jedi Fallen
No,
Order.
but we know that Jeddah was a planet for that because they had like the Jedi statues.
Do we know
and
any
stuff.
more? We know these
off the top
two.
of my head.
There has to be more because obviously maybe there's some stuff that haven't Rise of Skywalker that clearly there's at least one other planet out there. Right?
Like the Kyber crystals are like living entities, they're living force things that are all over the galaxy. So they're accessible everywhere. You just have to know where to look, I guess. Yeah. So this episode
Jedi text.
Secret Jedi text. This episode though, I really like seeing the younglings, even though they're all dead now.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. This is a depressing episode because you just know Anakin just fucking
he just cuts them all
down. And just that I hate Anakin so much. What an asshole.
I know Dylan would hate this story arc because there's a Jedi Wookiee and bother him so much.
What good does a Wookiee do? Wookiees suck. Hate Chewbacca.
He was probably my favorite youngling out of the whole bunch. Like, it was cool to see Mini Fisto there or whatever, but I'm definitely the Mini Chewie fan. He was just super cool. And, we had a mini, I can't remember, a mini Athorian, a Padawan, a mini Rhodian, and then whatever Adigalia species is, we had her there. Mm-hmm. So those were all pretty cool characters to have. Just a nice assortment of aliens. And yeah, I like how they went in and they had to kind of they had to overcome one of their biggest problems in their development to get their Kyber crystal and pass that, test. And the human boy kid or whatever, Petro, whatever his name was. He was a straight up ass. When he left that girl back there, like totally not the Jedi way. He did
but that's where I think that was the lesson, that he did do the Jedi way because he could have left her and he wanted to, but then he thought about it and went, no, that isn't the Jedi way, and he went back.
Yoda was extremely disappointed. He closed his eyes.
Oh yeah, he was. I think when he came he was, because I was wondering, I know we're doing the end there, I was wondering how's she going to get out of this and what they're going to do with this kid, because when he comes back and he's just left her, what would they do? Would they just would they excommunicate him? Would Yoda just slice him down right there in front of all the kids? Like, this you do not do, or like whatever.
He let Anakin take him as his master.
Yeah, go see Master Skywalker. But I did think he was going to come back for, and he did. But I was like, if he doesn't come back for, what happened? And I'll pose that question to you. So what would happen? You think? Let's say he left her there, and because clearly this thing is like melting. But even Yoda says at the end of the episode, they're like, we would have been trapped. He's like, no, in your mind, you'd be trapped. So they could open that up at any point to go get the Padawan, right? They're not trapped there. But what would they do? Would they just take that as more of they need to keep a closer eye on Petro? Like if he legitimately left her there, because that's like a dark side move or tendency, right? So what would you do?
In this sense, I think he wouldn't have passed that trial. He wouldn't have gotten his lightsaber, and he would have. He probably would have gone through. Yeah, they probably would have backhanded him. They would have taken him probably through a different.
My hand, you will feel.
They would have taken him through a different course of action, I think, where they would have taught him they would have taught him more about being more compassionate and not leaving anyone behind. That these are important aspects that you must learn as a Jedi. And I think it probably would have cut off his opportunity of being a Jedi Padawan, a knight, then a master. That he probably would have got shafted as a temple guardian or something like that.
Really, a temple guardian?
Yeah.
Does that happen?
I don't know how they promote, but like there are. Like you've seen the Temple Guardians, right? Like they're Jedi and they guard the Jedi Temple and they have double-ended yellow lightsabers.
No,
they're they do
they're
pop
not
up.
Ringing a bell.
They're in the show, but they are canon. They wear like a white yellow mask. But they're super cool guys. Like they're neat, but they're
super cool guys. But they also failed all their trials.
I feel like if you mess up on your test, you get shafted as like guard duty kind of thing.
Yeah, I was wondering that because this. I don't know if this will be a controversial thing to say, and maybe Taylor won't be expecting this, maybe other people won't be, but Taylor might expect it. I think as of right now, this episode is in my top 10 favorite episodes of all time. This show.
This episode, I had a hunch that you would like these episodes.
Because you know my pitch. I have two pitches for a Star Wars movie I want to make. Well, I have three. I have a Mace Windu show. That's different. I just want to see a young Mace Windu Qui-Gon show.
Not a post Revenge of the Sith Mace Windu show?
No. I want either young Mace or young Qui-Gon. I want them coming up in the Academy together. I just think it'd be so much fun. I want the young Count Dooku. That's something else. And Real Alvarez, get me that. So that's one. Episode 10, no one gets to know about that pitch because, you know what, people can laugh at me and say, you sound stupid, but I don't want to say it out loud in case there's ever, me and Taylor, we're going to make this movie.
What you're implying.
We're going to make this movie, but I don't want anyone to ever take it. So when they make episode 10 and announce it, they say, hey, Jon Favreau's directing episode 10 or a sequel with Rey and the company, then one day I'll get on the podcast and we'll pitch what our episode 10 was. But Taylor has no idea the concept of Hollywood. He was like, well, let's make it. I go, well, no, it's not as simple as that. We might be making a movie, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, next year. So we got to build that reputation. So I have my episode 10 pitch, but then my other pitch, what I've always wanted, and even the stuff in Jedi Fallen Order, I want in the near future, and this is me laying my pitch out here, but whatever. I think it's not, my ideas with it would be unique, not the actual, just the plot line is, I like the idea of a Padawan and just the psychology of what happens to a kid. Like, we got a little bit with Anakin, but then we jump forward so quickly, right? Like, we see he is torn to leave his mother there, but then you jump 10 years and he's still torn about it, but you don't see that progression. Like, what are those first things when you're a normal kid and then for some reason you move a rock or something happens and then you have these strangers showing up to your doorstep, like religion telling your parents, like, we want to take your son or daughter, and then you get taken away, you're shipped off. That's why I almost wish they'd do with the Kylo Ren series if they did that, but even then, that's your uncle, right? I don't want that. I want a character we don't know and something to do like that where it's like, oh, you're taken away, you're going to weird places, you may not even heard of Jedi, you're seeing a little green man perhaps, you're seeing all these different aliens with lightsabers and force and all this stuff. Imagine just what you'd have to take in, and all these kids are, what's the oldest? I know Anakin was old, and what was he, like 10 when they recruit him, or what, was he a bit younger?
He was 9.
Or was he 18? Or was he 8? Sorry.
18.
Was he 8? Because then when he was 10 years later.
I think he was 9 or 10.
Okay, so 9 or 10. But even then, they usually what? Don't they try and get them like 5-ish or something?
Not even that. I think they take them when they're like before they feel emotions. I think even when you're like at 5, you're feeling emotions. So I think they take them when they're younger than
really that young?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like there's some like imagery of Jedi taking them when they're like babies. They're holding them in like a cloth or whatever like that.
But do you think there is? So do you think if someone didn't feel the Force till they're like 5 or 6, could you do that? Like,
Well,
what do you
it's
think
not whether or not they feel the Force, because the Jedi have in their holocrons lists of people that are Force sensitive of all the children. So it's kind of
but
like
how they know before a child's born?
though they feel it in the Force.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, I'd have to think because I'd still want. Maybe my pitch is like because how come they didn't feel Anakin? How come they didn't go to Anakin? And he was the strongest Jedi of them all because hashtag midichlorians.
They talk about that in the Phantom Menace.
No, they don't.
Yeah. Qui-Gon says like, "Oh, it's possible so and so like missed it in the archives or something like that."
They're
like,
not in the archives.
but
They
he
don't exist.
does talk about that. He says
Okay.
normally the Jedi Council is like on point with these things, but it looks like something like we might have missed him in the archives because he's in the Outer Rim or something like that.
Maybe in my pitch, I would do years and years before when they established the rule of like he's too old, and maybe you could say this is why he's too old. But I just think the idea of seeing these kids, like that's what I did like about Jedi Fallen Order, those flashbacks of him doing the little trials with his master, and even then just the trials. One of the coolest things Obi-Wan says in the prequels is, "And I am ready for the trials." Do we ever see those? Nope. We never get to. Like, that'd be something cool to see, like, a Padawan learn, and that's why I think it would be a great, like, trilogy to get an actor the same age, start him off as a kid, have it be a Jedi apprentice, then the next movie Jedi Knight, and a Jedi Master, especially because if you get to a point where you're doing him as a Master, you could have all the parallels of what he went through for a kid. I just think there's so much stuff with the Padawans that is untapped potential. And yeah, you can go, I think back 10 years ago, people go, oh, child actors. But look at child actors nowadays, like It and Logan and all this stuff, Stranger Things, they're killing it. So I believe you could get good child actors. So I like this. I like the trials. I like them finding their lightsabers. Everything about the Padawan process intrigues me, and that's why I think we got a little bit of it in the prequels, but they split Obi-Wan and Anakin off so much. You get a little bit of it. That's what I like in Attack of the Clones at the very beginning, but then they're separated, right? Revenge of the Sith, they're separated. So you don't really get to see that. That's why some of my favorite stuff is Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan together. Ben Kenobi's a fucking weird guy to Luke, so I don't really count that. It is a master thing, but it doesn't really count. And the Leia thing in Rise of Skywalker didn't really count because she wasn't there. So I want to see more of that, and that's why I really like this episode. I liked everything about it. I liked going to this planet because now I have 2 touchstones as far as Jedi Fallen Order, and I didn't know it was Starkiller Base, so that's cool. I liked everything about this episode. This is a 2 thumbs up for me. I liked all the characters. I liked Ahsoka and Yoda being in the episode, but they weren't main characters. It was all about these younglings. I think these episodes are a good arc. I think near the end of them, they get really kiddie, which I understand it is a kid show, but in my movie or my pitch, it would be kid friendly, but it wouldn't get as like, at one point they bust in the fucking circus, and I was like, what am I watching? Madagascar 3 over here? So I wasn't a fan of that, but this episode, and maybe even number 2, but this episode specifically is for sure in the top 10. So I loved The Gathering. I'm going to see if I have any notes on it, but no, I don't. But yeah, like I said, I want more even though like a 6-episode Disney Plus show of a Padawan, and just like seeing the stages he could go. Like, I think there's lots of potential there. It's just, and that's why maybe it wouldn't work as a movie, but that's why do a show. You could keep it low budget. It's just him being trained. He doesn't have to fight a Sith, doesn't have to fight a bounty hunter. Just like the morals and the trials and tribulations of what it is to become a Jedi. You know, Disney Plus, do it.
I'd like that actually a lot. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, no, I would probably give this a 3.5. Like, I like it. It definitely wasn't one of my favorites, but I like seeing the variety of younglings and I don't know. My one thing I thought was weird is why are they just randomly pull Ahsoka in to take these group of younglings out here?
It was just to set up the next few episodes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because I feel like even then a ship like this, which we'll get into in other episodes, would be heavily protected under the protection of the Republic.
Well, I feel like because 2 things: 1, you have kids on there, but 2, you're going to like a sacred Jedi planet that you wouldn't want enemies finding out about, right? So I agree, especially when they walked up to her and they're like, Padawan Ahsoka, and she's like, yeah, she's still fucking Padawan. Like, I don't know if she has any right to be here, but I think Clone Wars does that a bit. I still think Anakin is. I don't think Anakin is in any place like this all done to have any sort of apprentice, but the council's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. So maybe it's just because they're idiots. That's why.
They thought it would groom him up a little bit.
Well, did it help? No, he still killed all those kids. He killed Padme. He killed Obi-Wan.
Well, there's more reasons for that, which you'll see in the Clone Wars.
I'm going by the movies. Clone Wars don't mean shit.
It's canon. It's canon.
It doesn't affect the movies at all.
Oh yeah, it does.
Barely. Not my watches. I still go by. I can enjoy these shows and like them, but no, Anakin's turn is still bad in the prequels.
Yeah, no, between why Ahsoka was there and just that they needed they should have had extra protection. There's just those couple little inconsistencies that I thought was just a little odd. But other than that, it was a very good episode. And leads into a very good arc, I would say.
And yeah, so they get all those crystals. This leads into episode 7, a test of strength, while returning to Coruscant. Their lightsaber crystal, or with their lightsaber crystals, the younglings are attacked by Hondo, who wants to steal their crystals and sell them. Ahsoka must defend the younglings from the pirates. So again, there's more stuff in this episode. And the next one, they're building their lightsaber. They're doing this, something we still have never seen in live action. A Jedi build their lightsaber. Somehow we have 9 movies.
They cut the Luke scene, unfortunately.
Did they cut a Rey scene too, or something like that?
Well,
episode 9, who knows?
Oh yeah, who knows?
There's no JJ cut. Get out of here. There might be
no. But we don't see it being built. But I'm not gonna say spoilers.
Well, spoilers for Rise of Skywalker. You see it on the side with the crystal, right?
Yeah, and that's
I told you that.
Well, yeah, I know you did.
Bastard,
but
trying to make it seem like
that's the closest
but
to anything live
I
action.
want the process, especially they talk about how like honorable and what a big deal it is. Like they said, every Jedi must build their own lightsaber. So, and that's one of the things I loved in Jedi Fallen Order. Check out our review. Was that changing out, blah, blah, but just the idea of same thing when I'm pitching this Padawan series of seeing of someone, okay, they've picked their crystal, now you got to build this lightsaber. And we've seen this episode, that girl, she has problems with the lightsaber. It's not fully connecting to her and the Force. Like, good ideas here. All stuff I really liked, lore things. So more stuff with them, more stuff their conversation. Pedro, he's a little bit of a dick, but you can kind of see he's getting not nicer, a bit more warm with everybody. So Hondo, my thing is, so I liked all these 2 episodes. I liked the most. The Gathering I liked. I'll save something coming up here. The only problem with Hondo was in this episode and the next episode, I get it that he's there for the crystals and everything like that. And she says, oh, last time we met, this was the line I talked about, I think in the last episode we just did the podcast, where she says, like, last time we met, you're a bit more cordial. And he goes, oh, well, I go where the prophet is, right? He said something like that. And like, these are the prophet. That's fine. But then, so to me, we met him seasons ago, right? And he was just kind of this pirate. And then as he's gone around further, we've kind of learned that he's not a terrible guy, but he will turn on you for profit, right? He's like a Jack Sparrow. So that's fine enough. But then later on, and it's kind of going in the next episode, but it's just the vibe I got with this episode, some threats he was making, and then the next episode. And then the fact later on in episode 4, they turn him right back to being, oh, jolly old Hondo. At one point, he's just like, oh, I hope this is better than your last circus act because I had to decapitate them or cut their heads off. And it was just like, so this makes no sense from a writing standpoint. That last episode, he literally just said, they literally had him and Ahsoka had a conversation that he's not a bad guy. He doesn't just hurt people for the fun of it. He'll hurt them if there's profit. Can you tell me why he hurt the fucking circus
He
folk?
spent money on the circus and
that has nothing, and you know that
and they wasted his money.
You know that makes zero sense to me. What the Hondo they've been pausing for the past few seasons to this, and then the next episode, like I said, he's back like, oh, youngling, like cut me down, and oh, I always believe in you, and he gives like a little head nod to the youngling at the end of this arc, and it's like, that didn't fit. They didn't need to have him at all threatening the circus people or being overly mean. I didn't like how just back to evil they did. It'd be fine if they did that and stuck with that, but they didn't. It was like, I would have been fine with, okay, he is. We thought he was nice, but maybe he is just a dick and he's an asshole and he's a murderer. But no, they paused it for that. No, he's not a bad guy. But then next one, no, he killed innocent circus people. It made sense. It made no sense. That really bugged me with these episodes.
He's a pirate, you know. He's gonna kill people.
But but he even said it. He had a code. He did it for profit. The circus people, you can pitch whatever you want over there. But
maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was his men that did it.
Then they never revealed that though. He never went, oh, I was just saying it to be big. It was not me.
I'm sure there's an explanation.
But there's not. You can't just be like, oh, I think that's the explanation. So there wasn't. So that's why these episodes get dock points for me. But Taylor, what did you think about this episode of Hondo after the kids and everything?
I liked it. I like seeing Hondo, looking for money and just going for the big buck, the big score, and
kyber crystals makes sense.
Yeah, he always continues to impress as a character. I love his accent.
Continues to impress.
Oh yeah, he's always popping off with something.
Half a carton down.
Jesus Christ!
I gotta save it.
Just popping down the eggnog, Dairyland. Yeah, he's such an entertaining character, and I really wish that he made an appearance live action in some shape or form because he just brings atmosphere and an aesthetic, that just follows him anywhere whenever he's present on the screen, and he's like charismatic, and he's
a great character.
He is. He's just hilarious.
That's why I didn't like what they did with him here. I felt like they made him a little generic by being very evil. I didn't think he didn't need to be evil. He could just be after the crystals. It changes nothing. Why they have to make him like a cold blood murder, not like just a murderer. You know.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you think there is any chance that we see him in Mandalorian or something like that in the future?
Oh, I hope so.
Because I think Mandalorian would be the place, right?
Yeah, well, now that they said, you'll see familiar characters in season 2.
But that was different. They said of the Skywalker saga. He's not a Skywalker saga character, right? But I think that episode that with like Bill Burr and all those bounty hunters and whatnot, you could easily have an episode like that where he bumps into Hondo.
Yeah, he's definitely a favorite of Dave Filoni, I would say, because of how popularly and regularly he's used in the franchise. So I
think it's going to happen. I don't know for sure if it's Mandalorian, but I bet it could be Mandalorian.
That's the best place to throw him in. And I would love to see a live action Hondo just making deals, trying to, get the big score or whatever. That'd just be so good. Yeah. He's so funny with his accent. He's talking about laser swords and Jedi and all that stuff, and his reactions too are great. Again, I'm just gonna shout out that first episode of season 5 here when Obi-Wan is like,
we just talked about the last episode.
I know, but I'm just saying it for the fans. When Obi-Wan says, I wouldn't be so sure I cut him in half once and he still managed to survive. Well, isn't that interesting? He's just such a good character, and he really gets tested in this story arc, I'd say, especially near the end of it when in the next couple episodes when he's under siege. So
I would give this a 1.5 thumbs.
Give it a 1.5.
Episode 8, Bound for Rescue, with Ahsoka captured by Han. Oh, and that I guess we forgot to mention that. Yeah, we didn't even get to that. It's literally the pirates come aboard. They want the crystals. It's the kids and Ahsoka fighting back. They eventually get to a point where they get the pirates all at the ship, but then Ahsoka didn't account for one last pirate. So there's like this door airlock situation where she's getting all the pirates shipped back into their ship, but then a pirate hits her from behind. She's told the younglings to say, hit hyperdrive now. They hit it, but she gets hit by a person and she goes into their ship. So that's what happened, that the younglings are by themselves with the robot and she's with Hondo and the crew. What do you think about that robot?
I quite enjoy him. I like
the
when
Jedi train or whatever. I loved that scene when he showed look at all these different designs Jedi have had over the years.
Anakin's,
that was
Obi-Wan's.
So cool. That was just in general. I loved that idea.
Yeah, I like when that little Rodian youngling just was like talking trash, like you're a droid. Why are we supposed to listen to you? But he laid her out to dry. Like he had the information of Yoda's lightsaber. Yeah. Every lightsaber ever made, he had it stored in there, so it's a shame that he's probably destroyed and it's all gone. So
yeah, I did like him too, because I think droids for me are very 50-50. Either I love him or I don't really care for him. Bound for Rescue, now that we set that up, with Ahsoka captured by Hondo, the younglings go to Florium to rescue her against the wishes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. However, before they can help the younglings, he is attacked by General Grievous and defeated, but nearly kills the droid general by setting a self-destruct on the negotiator.
He totally botches that plan.
We're going to get into that. After being defeated by Grievous in single combat. So, this episode in general, I liked it, but it felt like Bound for Rescue was, if they would have attached it to any other episode, like I feel like they just need the youngling storyline, right? Of them talking to Obi-Wan. But if they would attach that to the episode previously or the next episode, it'd be longer than 22 minutes. So they need to fill it. So they threw in this Obi-Wan Grievous thing. I think it ended up working in the next episode, but in the middle of this episode, it felt very tacked on of, all of a sudden Obi-Wan's on a mission. He's fighting Grievous again. It felt a little disjointed. It felt like the whole past we've been just about these kids and Ahsoka, and then all of a sudden we're off somewhere with Obi-Wan and Grievous. So I don't think the stuff's bad there, but I didn't care for it as much because I just like the youngling stuff. And yeah, we'll get into it, but that was some classic, very poor writing. They did that in Rise of Skywalker of villain has a plan, says a plan, and then the hero doesn't do it, and he could have won. We all know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. If somebody didn't say strike me down, he could have just got stricken down and he would have won the fucking thing. But no, did he not? Did he say anything? Oh, of course he did. Same thing Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan has Grievous, this guy they've been after for months. Huge terrorist. They want to take him down. And you can't say for a second that, Jedi don't want to kill people. Because a few seasons ago, Anakin fucking shanked some guy in the back and Obi-Wan went, Anakin. And they never talked to him again about it. I think for a second, if you could blow up Grievous, you'd take it. So that was a dock off too of just like, I've set your ship to self-destruct. And Grievous like, no. And he runs. It's just like, okay. That's where I felt like that was all tacked on stuff. So I like the younglings Ahsoka stuff. The Obi-Wan and Grievous stuff was just fine.
Yeah, I enjoy the Obi-Wan Grievous stuff because it just reminds you again, like, okay, yeah, they're going on this peaceful Jedi adventure to get their crystals and everything, and things kind of went haywire a little bit, but there's constantly war all over the galaxy happening, and that's the case here when Obi-Wan and Grievous encounter. And I love the whole battle sequence of the ships just going in. It was just
Really
so awesomely set up, and I love how the droid ships just come right in and drop off in the hangar bay, drop the super battle droids, and Grievous pops out, and he kills that one clone guy, and Obi-Wan's like, what do you say? You're going to pay for that, or you're going to regret that? Like, revenge is not the Jedi way, but
yeah.
It's just...
Not in the prequels. They don't give a... They'll throw out the window. That, fucking, the whole deal, they don't care.
Yeah. It blows my mind how close he could have put a huge dent in the war. He could have killed Grievous, but he had that message saying, if you're watching this, you'll be pleased to know that I set the ship to self-destruct, Grievous. With plenty of time for him to escape, like unfucking believable. It's just that was
poor writing.
It was, yeah. But
just think of anything else, but that was that's why I felt like it was just tacked on. They're back in the corner, they didn't know what to do, and they're like, oh, we'll do this, and like, how do we get him off the ship? Well, we'll have Obi-Wan tell him the ship's good, but it's like, why would they have some of the droids just be like, hey, we found something on this ship and it's gonna self-destruct, like have them figure out and then them leave, like I don't know.
I like how he was like throwing the droids to the side.
What's wrong? And they hate the fucking droids and all this.
Oh.
Like one episode 2, I think it was the last episode I didn't mention, they just like, what's that, a bomb? I think it's a bomb, and it blows up. It's just like, why'd you make these droids so dumb? And
you're gonna love one of the arcs coming up.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh boy.
Anything more on that episode?
No.
I think I have some notes. Ahsoka says this line to Hondo, which I don't know if I understand it correctly, but she goes, they have her locked up and they're kind of threatening each other, and she goes, I'll make you wish you were born a protocol droid. And he goes, sometimes I wish that anyways. What does that mean? Why does Hondo sometimes wish he was a protocol
He's probably
droid?
on death sticks or
well, he is in the
spice.
next episode. The next episode, he is off on another world when he's making those circus threats. But like, why? That's the next episode, right? When they're on the ground with the circus? No, that's this episode at the end, right? That's this episode when they go down there and he's drunk. They don't say he's drunk, but he is.
He's so fucking wasted.
He's so wasted. He's like falling all over himself. He's climbing on crates and falling down. But I don't know what that meant. This was before the death sticks and stuff when he just said, I wish I was a protocol droid. What does that even mean? Why does he wish he was a protocol droid? It wasn't even a good comeback. It was such a weird line. I was like, that's being written down. Why the self-destruct? And this is the thing I really didn't like because he has a whole monologue in this show is like 2 or 3 sentences about how he killed circus people because they didn't do a good job, and maybe someone could chalk that up to he was being bold-faced or he was maybe drunk, but I don't know. And this was the episode 2 along with Obi-Wan Grievous stuff that I felt was disjointed. I didn't love they're trying to find a way into Hondo's camp, and then they see this circus, and then it's just like I said, it's just like Madagascar. They're like, if we come aboard with you, we'll help you at this event. And the guy goes, how will you? It's like a Sebulba like guy, right?
Doug.
Yeah. He's walking on his arms and the feet are his hands. And he's just like, how can you help me? And then they're like, well, we're acrobatics. And then they're doing flips and they're doing all this. Like, it felt very Paw Patrol-ish. And that's fine. It's a cartoon. It's still for kids.
How the Jedi blend in. And
I guess. But then later on, they have the costumes on and the Wookiees doing like big barrels.
Yeah.
No. I didn't. That's for me.
That's Star Wars.
As a kid, that's fine. But for me as an adult, to go, oof, not the most entertaining for me.
Your daughter probably loved it.
She was not awake for those episodes, but she probably would have. She liked most of these episodes. But that was not for me. I was like, because I just felt the gathering and even the episode after that was still more serious, but it had kids in it, where this just felt very kiddie with a little less serious. That's why when I want hopefully a Padawan thing happens in the future, I want like the first episodes where it's taken seriously, not because you can have kids joke around, be kiddie, that's fine, but I don't want Paw Patrol like, look, I'm a lion and I'm backflipping. It's like, oh no, why are we doing this? So, and then they just escape so easily. So I would give this episode a thumb up.
I give it a thumb and a half.
Let's see. A necessary bond. General Grievous attacks Hondo on Florham, so Ahsoka and Hondo make amends in order to survive this encounter. Boom, that's it. The opening of this episode felt exactly like Rise of Skywalker, where it's a bunch of speeders and huge things, and they're just after each other. This episode it was just the chase episode. That's what this felt like. It was just people after people after people. You have the opening of the episode of Grievous after everybody. You have later on in the middle where Dooku and Hondo have a falling out, and then Ahsoka and Hondo have to work together. So lots of leeches, kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean kind of, I won't say Indiana Jones, but that pace at the beginning of just like shooting and jumping ship to ship. So I liked it. It was a good episode. It was my least favorite because it didn't have the circus. But again, I think you've probably tell if you've listened to all of these reviews, I like the action episodes a lot, but I always prefer stuff like The Gathering, the more character based, we're learning stuff, or we're seeing some lore done well, or we're just seeing some concept like the Padawan trials or getting a crystal done really well. So this is good. It's a really good action episode, but I don't think I have anything massive on it. I like at one point, I felt like Grievous was dead to rights, and they should just took a little bit more time to shoot him, but it's fair enough. So I think it was a good action episode and was a good enough finale to the ending where you see, or to this arc of all the Padawans, they put in their lightsaber and they ask, what about Yoda's lightsaber? And Obi-Wan says, that's a story for another time, kind of like Maz Kanata. So I liked, again, all that stuff. You got to see Grievous take on all those Padawans, and I just look at all the lightsabers.
Oh, I know. He
so
was
many
like,
in my collection.
He couldnn't handle it. He was like,
frothing out. He couldn't wait to pull an Anakin Skywalker. So there are some really good moments in this episode. I just didn't love it like the first two, but it is, I think for me, it's like a thumb and a half just because the action was done really well. It was paced really well. Ahsoka and Grievous' lightsaber fight was really cool.
This was their first engagement, I
thought
think.
so, yeah. And yeah, it was all really good stuff. So I did really enjoy this episode more thinking back on it. But at the time, I wasn't sure because the last episode happened. I'm I don't know what we're going to get here. But this episode is just purely almost action,
Yeah, it's definitely a full throttle episode. Yeah, seeing Grievous pop off, and very cool to see the younglings kind of get to be out there in the field with their lightsabers and
just thrust into it. They just got their crystals 2 days ago.
Yeah, just really thrusted into it. And,
see, if this was the more serious, I would have had one kid die, just one.
One kid? Who?
Yeah.
Which kid? Not the Ithorian.
No, I was going to say probably the Wookiee. And
not
for the reasons Dylan says, just because I feel like your heartstrings would pull more because you have that Chewbacca touchstone. I did like the wood lightsaber earlier on. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I was thrown off when they said, how are they going to make it wood? But then it's more just encased in wood. So it's I guess that's a wood lightsaber.
He said it was there's only one kind that would work or you're what did he say? He was talking to him about how you're craving wood or whatever. So we have one type of wood that's as strong as metal, and I can't remember what he called it.
Yeah, but still, it
wood.
wasn't just a wood lightsaber. It was wood over top the lightsaber because he builds and then the wood comes over top.
The wood, the metal. Yeah. It's like a sleeve that goes onto it.
It's wood lightsaber. So, what else about this episode?
It was very entertaining. I love seeing Hondo. I loved seeing his faith in that little Jedi youngling about her journey and what she was doing, and it's
she
this
assembles
whole
her lightsaber finally because she had problems with it. So.
Yeah, it's this whole time, even when Hondo leaves, it's which I feel like he would have recruited her if he could have. But this whole time, Hondo just wants you to believe and wants this youngling to believe, I was the good guy all along,
Yeah. What do you think? I think we forgot to talk about it in, I think it was episode 2 with the pirates. That risky move Petro did with the lightsaber bomb. That could have went off. And does that even work? Because it was fully not working. He throws it at the pirate here, you can have he tricks him. And the pirate's I've always wanted one of these. He tries to kill them. He takes swipes at them and then it blows up. What did you think about that?
Yeah, that was definitely a bad play.
Yeah, it was
very dangerous considering he's obviously a pretty Petro, he seems pretty adept at what he's doing with the lightsaber because when he was training and showing off and he had his helmet on and he was fighting against that training droid, he was popping off and he called it the whirlwind of destiny.
Yeah, he's skilled that way. But I was surprised, not surprised, but I was wondering if the crystal was going to stay intact, but it did, I guess. So
yeah. Well, the crystals can take a lot, and it's funny because if you look at the specs of a lightsaber, Anakin's first lightsaber that he made that got destroyed on Geonosis, it has a range extender so he can shorten and increase the length of it. And then
he's used that.
Yeah, and then there's I think some of them have 2 crystals inside. There's the main kyber crystal, and then there's a crystal that's an emitting crystal, or I don't know. There's all these different components, but that's again, like you said, these arcs did such a good job at kind of showcasing just the cherry on top of lightsaber construction and all of that. And even though it really took a detour with Grievous and the circus and everything.
The circus. I was going to ask you this. So we did this at the beginning of, and I've kind of known that before through other canon, and I've never asked this, so this isn't even this fault. With Ahsoka, she has 2 lightsabers. How did that work for her trial as far as they say 1 crystal calls you? Did 2 call to her then?
Well, I don't even like. I think the Force speaks out and you crystal calls to you, but I think many crystals can call to you because I mean, Anakin lost his one lightsaber and he went back and probably got a new one, a new crystal.
Who was it? Her decision saying that she wanted two. Then is just I want to have two lightsabers, and if so,
yeah, it would probably be your own decision because you specialize in these different forms of lightsaber combat, right?
I guess why does not everyone do that though? So they have an extra lightsaber just in case.
It's just preferred. It's like Mace Windu. He mastered using the Force to channel into his
I know that didn't
combat,
answer my question though. Why not have an extra lightsaber just in case?
Just because you have an extra, like a second one, doesn't mean you'll be better prepared or better.
But if you lose it gets destroyed.
Then you die. You're not supposed to lose it.
Well, Anakin does many times, and he never died until fucking Return of the
Jedi.
Jedi.
He pays the price though. Like this weapon is your life.
He barely
Jedi's weapon deserves more respect.
Lashing. Oh no.
But it's just a personal choice what you want to do. There are two lightsaber wielding Jedi in Attack of the Clones in the arena on Geonosis. In the background, you can see one Jedi probably doing spinning kicks when he's got two lightsabers destroying droids.
Really?
Very, very cool.
There's a really annoying part in Attack of the Clones when Anakin gets two lightsabers and then Dooku just cuts it right away, and he fought with them for like 5 seconds. It was like, George, what was the point of that? Like, you killed the hype moment. You're like, oh no. It's like if you were just about to orgasm and the person stopped, you're like, why not just
Star
finish?
Wars does that a lot.
Yeah, George does that a lot. Yeah, maybe Star Wars in general does that a lot. Anything else in this episode?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Probably give it a thumb and a half.
Yeah, I'd give it a thumb and a half as well. Finally, the last episode we're going to be talking about today. Secret weapons. R2-D2 is part of a team of Republic droids chosen for an important mission led by the Colonel Mebu Dascon to obtain an encryption model from a separatist dreadnought. It's a dreadnought. The droids must overcome numerous challenging obstacles to succeed in this crucial assignment. Taylor, what did you feel about this episode?
This is the new arc, right?
It's the start of it. To me, this is a pretty self-sustained episode still.
Okay.
It's mostly just like the droids' adventure, right?
Yeah, because the droids, like the whole arc is the droids going on an adventure. Just so you know.
Okay, continue.
Continue talking about that or just the episode?
This episode.
Okay.
We'll cover that next week.
The droids in this episode, it's I found like the little guy, the colonel was actually, he was pretty intriguing. I took him seriously at first, but then I found him to be kind of like too comedic, I guess. Like he thought himself in like this high up position, but it didn't really matter. And I did enjoy the droids. I liked how he was riding around hidden in one of the or astromech droids. That was kind of cool. But I know you're not really a droid guy, and this is what I was foreshadowing too about the droids. But it's this story arc leads into a very cool addition to the Star Wars canon universe. Their mission all in all was very interesting. I love seeing the droids fight. Astromech's fight is pretty cool. I love seeing the what are they called? It's the hey, hit the nose. Those droids. I can't remember what they're called. I'm gonna look it up.
No, one's on Tatooines and everything like that.
Yeah.
The Pip-Ts or whatever, Pip-Pips, whatever. So I've had a very rocky relationship with Clone Wars, the show. I think, some people maybe overhype it as like, oh, once you're past season 2, it's all great. That's a lie. It's not all great. There's lots of bad episodes and things like that. But I would say that from even season 4, but more so from the Krell episodes until these Gathering ones, all of them have been good to great. Some of the real, always that quality of you're always getting a good episode, or maybe some of the best episodes. Like I talked about The Gathering, I talked about Maul's Return, so all that. So I was like, now I feel like I can really say, okay, we're in that home stretch where I can be like, you know what, 1 to 4 has some mixed episodes, some great arcs, some not so great, but then 4 to 5 and 5 is just knockout seller, the best Star Wars animated stuff. I thought that until this episode came. This is not the worst episode. This is some of the better, kind of kiddie humor episode, but I've honestly forgotten. I watched last night. I forgot most of this episode because it's just, if you really like droids like Taylor does, then it's great. I don't really care about droids in the fact of a droids together episode. I like droids when they're with people, but this whole the droids on adventures doing things, the Colonel is just very over the top. I didn't care about, and now the fact you told me that we have not 1, not 2, but 3 more 3 more of these droid episodes. Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm not looking for that. If we were reviewing this, I would skip these because I did not enjoy this episode because I was just bored. It was fun. I think it would be great for kids, but now this is an arc. Oh my god, I can't believe this. So
I didn't know you didn't know it was.
No, I didn't look that far. I even asked you, remember? I was like, oh, there's R2 episodes arc, and you just gave me the Neil deGrasse Tyson, like you didn't know what he was doing things. So I was not a fan of this. I would give this like a I don't know, like a 0.5 thumb. I would give it a thumb up for it's well made, and I think people would like it if you like droids like kids, but it's just a personal taste for me. None of the humor didn't really work for me, and I don't really care about this stuff. I know Taylor says it's going to lead to something cool. I don't trust him because there's many times he says that about like Clone Trooper episodes. I'm just like, that was a fine episode. So I'm not looking forward to watching those next 3 because this to me was a drag, and I was like, oh, let's get through this. This is last episode. Maybe it was last episode at night. Maybe I'll try to watch it again. I probably won't, but I am not looking forward to the next 3 episodes, which... Oh.
Like I won't lie, like it. You know, I like you said, like I like droids, but I mean droids. There's only a couple droids I like. I don't just love droids. And the name.
I feel like you just said you're a droids guy.
No, I'm a clone guy.
Yeah, you are. You're a canon guy.
The droid is a dumb series pit droid. There's your
pit
boy.
Droid, yeah.
The episode, like this arc leads to, unfortunately, probably one of the most boringest, blandest fucking planets in the Star Wars universe, and it sucks because unfortunately the droids are kind of bland in this arc. But that being said, it does lead to a very interesting development with the character, and I do find the ending of this arc is insanely climactic. It's like, holy shit, like everything that goes down is wild. But it's a bit of a journey.
Right.
Oh yeah,
you're right. I'm not seeing the holy shit wild from these. These just looks like
it'll blow you away.
These just look like minor little filler episodes that are like, all right, do we really need this, or do we need to fill out the 20 episodes?
This is a full-on arc, and once you get through this, then I think we get back into Darth Maul's.
I have seen, Darth Maul's that. So
yeah, he pops back into the fray.
That's what we'll be talking about next episode. What are you giving this episode to end us off today? I gave it a thumb and a half.
You gave this episode a thumb and a half?
Or sorry, just a thumb, just a half a thumb.
Oh, okay. It's like, wow, this one really hit it for you. I'm going to give this 1 thumb up.
1 thumb up. Taylor, where can they find us? We got pretty much 3 more episodes, I think, or 4 more, because the next...
3 more episodes, and then...
Well, no, we have 4 more episodes, because we're going to do... Because we got 23 in total, and we usually record in 2s, right? So we'll record the next 10, and then we'll just record those 13 together just to finish off. So after this, there'll only be 2 episodes left before the revival's happening. Mm-hmm. Crazy. Or sorry, 2 recordings for us, 4 episodes for you guys. Yeah.
The finale of this season is pretty good, actually. It's pretty juicy. Some more Ahsoka stuff. So, but yeah,
where can they find the juicy Ahsoka stuff?
You can find us with your interconnection in the search bar.
Don't search juicy Ahsoka stuff on the internet.
No, don't. Definitely don't.
Let's find out what happens.
Actually, eh?
Yeah,
oh
do
boy.
Your plugs.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar, Geek for Space Podcast, and Facebook, everywhere else, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Twitter, Geekverse Cast. We have tons of Star Wars stuff. You know, check out Patreon and get all these things early. If you're listening to us now or you're just listening to us for the first time, go check out Patreon because there's a whole bunch of new content that's up there early. You know, Travis must have found some interesting things over there.
No, not really.
Really?
Nothing
I'm surprised.
dirty.
There's a lot of fanboys out there
Maybe
that
I
like
could
the
put in
Ahsoka
images,
stuff.
but...
Oh, that's risque.
No, it's not. It's like a restaurant because there's some restaurant called Juicy Stuff, and that's what comes up pretty much. And then there's
put it Juicy Ahsoka stuff? Or?
Juicy Ahsoka stuff, yeah.
Wow.
And then there's also this fan-made image art of Bowser throwing up at a toilet or something. That's after because he's sitting there, he's smiling, he goes... So I don't know if that's Bowser or what the deal is. Yeah, head down below for all the audio and video feeds. That's where you can go. If you like what we do here or anywhere else, please give us a like, a review, a sub. If you really want to help us on Apple Podcasts, give us a written review, nice 5-star one, that'd be great. But that really helps us out. And yeah, Patreon, we're in 2020 now. At this point, the 2020 schedule should be revealed. We're not going to say what it is here in case it hasn't been, but we got a whole Marvel Phase 2, Phase 5, Year 5 layout for you. We got video, we got custom logos, lots of good stuff going to be happening in the general for the year, but on Patreon as well. You want to go there because there's going to be stuff that's just not early. There'll be early stuff, but just exclusive stuff. And also, Patreon is ad-free. So if you listen to this and go, oh, I wish there was no ads, especially in commentary tracks, go to Patreon, $1 tier, you get every single episode ad-free from here on out. So thank you very much for tuning in. May the Force be with you.
Always.